We are live at the Balkan House Restaurant in Hamtramck. This is episode 30 of the Table Talk podcast. I first of all want to say hello to everyone that is watching. I hope that you guys are tuned in. And we are basically here for the Yemen Fundraiser. And we are basically here, everything that's happening at the Balkan House Restaurant today is going towards Yemen, the food, the drinks, everything. So we appreciate that. But we're going to get into everything later on in the show. First of all, I want to say, again, this is the Table Talk podcast. My name is Omar Thabit. I am one of the hosts. The other host is Big Sis in the building, Abir Thabit. The other co-host is Little Sis, Sada Thabit. And of course, our guest today is the owner of the Balkan House Restaurant, Juma Ekic. She is in the building, and we are happy to have her here. We really do appreciate it. And we're going to get into more about Juma and all the great things that she does. I'm sure she's excited to talk about it and mention everything as well. And before we do that too, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors of today. Our two sponsors is the Balkan House Restaurant and Give to Gain. The Balkan House Restaurant, as many of you know, there's two locations, one in Hamtramck, one in Ferndale. They are famous for their doner kebab, but we just tried some delicious chavapis. How was the chavapis, by the way?
Great, amazing. And then there's special sauces and bread, fresh made bread in-house.
Yes.
Amazing.
Delicious. We should do a commercial.
Wait, sure.
Alright, but no, in all seriousness, the food was great. We're very thankful for them, and delicious food. Like I said, everything is halal. They even serve breakfast. Juma Ekic, the owner, Hassan, shout out to Hassan, all the great workers here at the Balkan House Restaurant. Great people and great service. And then the second sponsor is Give to Gain, which is where all this money will be going to. Shout out to Give to Gain. It's a non-profit organization that sponsors orphans in Yemen. I'm going to talk all about Yemen and what's going on in Yemen and why people donate to Yemen. So if you are looking to donate, it's in the comment section. First of all, you can donate to Give to Gain through Cashapp, which is give2gain. And then you can donate through Venmo at give2gain and Zelle 313-445-8638. Like I mentioned, we are live at the Balkan House Restaurant. All the proceeds will be going to Yemen today, so that's why we are here. And of course, the Balkan House Restaurant is also a sponsor of ours. So I've always wanted to do a show in the Balkan House Restaurant. It might not be the first one, might not be the last one. So looking forward to that. But yeah, that's what we're here to talk about today. We're talking about community relations. We're going to get into all that, but we do want to introduce, obviously, the guests and talk about why Yemen, why are we doing this pretty much fundraiser. So first of all, for those that are wondering why Yemen, okay, let's get into the issues of Yemen, right? So number one, it is the largest humanitarian crisis and aid operation right now going on in Yemen. There's 15 million people who need water or sanitation support. You got 5 million people who are at risk of famine. Every 10 minutes, there's a stat that said every 10 minutes a child dies from a disease that can be prevented. Alright, so every 10 minutes a child dies from a disease that can be prevented. This is in Yemen. 6 years of armed conflict between Saudi and Houthi rebels. So obviously there's a war going on, which many of you are familiar with. If you watch the news, there's plenty of wars going on in Yemen. And then, there's just been unlawful attacks at schools, hospitals, places of worship. Obviously, they got hit by COVID-19, just landmines around, kids fighting wars for, young kids that are fighting wars for people. So it's just a lot of stuff going on in Yemen. And so I wanted to make sure everybody knows why we're talking about Yemen. And with that said, I just first of all want to introduce Juma Ekic, as I mentioned, who is the owner of the Balkan House Restaurant. So first of all, Juma, you want to tell everybody that is watching a little bit about yourself, what you do, and things like that.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm Juma, and I'm originally from Bosnia. I grew up in Germany. I moved here about 22 years ago. I was an immigrant myself. I went through a war, and I know what does it feel not to have. So I think it's really important if everyone would get together and give a little bit, just a little bit, not much, that we can help out other people, I started this business very, not expecting much, and so I got very successful in very short time, and So it's great to give back to the community, and the community supports me a lot. So I think it's very important to give back.
And I just wanted to mention that you're mentioning about giving back, right? So
Yes.
you do this a lot, okay? This is not just the first time. Last week you did something for Ukraine. You are a sponsor of this show, by the way, a gold sponsor of this show. Anything that I personally have come up to you, you've always been willing. You give back to schools. There's probably things that, everything that goes on in Hamtramck and in Ferndale, you see the Balkan House logo on it being a sponsor, the festival, things like that. So, why do you feel it's important to give back to people?
That's just who I am, because like I said earlier, I was in a war, and sometimes I didn't have food, I didn't have water to shower, so
It just come natural to you.
Yeah. So that's just who I am.
Yeah.
So, and I think Balkan House, is just representing who I am and my family. That's how I was raised, because other people helped us as well. So I think
And that motivated you too.
exactly, yes. And I like to see other people, succeed, other people doing good in life. It's just, I think it's really important. And
Yeah.
like I said, if everybody would just do a little bit, we wouldn't have hungry kids, no water, I know we can't change the whole world, but, we can help whatever we can.
What are you about to say?
Honestly, I think Juma is definitely an example of if you do good, good comes back to you.
Exactly.
So, definitely inspiring.
Yeah, definitely. And Juma, she's a humble lady too, by the way, for those that are watching. She's very humble, and she doesn't list all the stuff that she does, and I wish I listed them personally, but like I said, she's always been giving back, always willing to give back, and has done this for a while now too. So we really do appreciate Juma and the whole Balkan House family as well, the Balkan House Restaurant, everyone that's behind it and behind the scenes and stuff like that.
That's what I wanted to say, it's not just me. I have a very support from my family. I have some amazing employees. I am so lucky to have these people in my life, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
And one of those amazing employees, Hamtramck.
Oh yes, he is actually, he is very good. He is very respectful. I get people, my customers would message me and say, hey, he was so respectful, he was great, he's all of them,
That's so
all
important.
of them.
Yeah, no, with all jokes aside, first of all, the reason why I said that is because Hamtramck is a part of the Movement podcast as well, so he is on one of our shows, and also Hamtramck obviously is little cousin as well, so we were just joking around, but he does work here, so she even employs Yemeni. So for all the Yemeni people out there, just know that out there. She even employs Yemeni people as well. So she stands by it, in every way, in every aspect or form. But seriously, we really do appreciate your support, Juma. We really do. So just quick little advertisement for the Balkan House, right? So what are some of the best food choices here at the Balkan House Restaurant? Just on the top of your head. I mentioned the doner, the chavapi, the breakfast, but what else do you want to mention?
We specialize in the German-style doner kebab. We actually, when we started about 3 years ago, we were the only location that served German-style doner kebab. And how when I took over this place, that was a small business that was a failing. I didn't think nothing of it, so I was just wanted to give it a try, because I've been working all my life in a food industry, restaurants, and in Germany we used to eat the doner kebabs all the time, and my nephew actually got the recipe, and that's how everything started. We got really popular. After a while we opened the second location. So that's a number one item that is really German style doner kebab. Then our chavapis are great as well. That's originally the Eastern European Bosnian pljeskavica, which is the Bosnian burger, our salads. I would say, you guys have to give it a try.
Yeah, no, definitely. You guys definitely have to give it a try. The food is delicious. And like I said, chavapi is now my go-to. Used to be the doner, obviously, the one that everybody loves, but Javape is my go-to, and I've heard the breakfast is amazing as well. I haven't tried the breakfast yet.
And the food, it tastes like home. Like,
Yeah.
I was
you know?
gonna say it's of course the food is great, but even the atmosphere of the restaurant, it's definitely a family feel. They make you feel special. It's cozy. It's decorated nicely. Like it's just the whole vibe.
Yeah.
So definitely.
A bunch of different flags from all around the world in here as well. I love that.
Yes,
I love
like
that.
everybody.
All right, so my final thing is basically any last thing that you want to mention. I mean, obviously you're still going to be here, but any one thing that you want to mention about just giving back and stuff like that, and donating, and anything you want to mention about any of that.
I wanted to say so much when
Yeah.
all this started, but
Well, you know what? It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out,
It's gonna
and we're
come
gonna
out.
keep.
It's gonna come
Yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling. So, first of all, sisters, I want to go ahead and shift it to you now. You guys haven't really said much yet. So, just in general, what are your whole thoughts on the Yemen situation that's going on? You know, I know you hear these stats. This is not everything, by the way. I had to stop writing down stats because I was like, all right, you know. There's a bunch of other things happening as well, just like your uncle walking in to the restaurant while we are live. But shout out to Uncle Nash. What's up, Uncle Nash?
Hey.
You alright? You want to say hello to the camera? Come in the camera, say what's up. You're gonna act like he's shy. You can't have a love machine and be shy. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that, Uncle Nash.
disclose
Alright, my bad. Alright, so anyways, in all seriousness,
Do you have like a whole list?
No.
Okay,
no.
'cause
I just he spoke a lot about it. For me, it's more of the children. When kids are definitely not used to having a normal life, they're living in survival mode. They're like just I saw the statistic and I was like, wow, because I'm a teacher, you're a teacher, you guys have kids in school. Well, Sada, you're a student, or been a student. But last year in September, 2 million school-age children did not attend. 2 million, and that's like the future. You know, that's the future of Yemen, and it's scary. Like, let alone they're not getting food, their homes are being invaded. A lot of the younger, there's a lot of females that are in risk of child marriage. A lot of the little boys are getting recruited into the army. It's like so sad that they don't have a normal life at all. So to me, it's everything in particular, but the children for me the most.
And,
go ahead, Sada, yeah.
and I think with also Yemen as well too is that it's the forgotten country.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like the lowest in the temple as well, and I feel like that's why it has not been set into any TV outlets or news outlets the way every other country is on there. That's very unfortunate as well.
And what are your thoughts on the Yemen situation when you hear this stuff? Like, what crosses your mind?
What crosses my mind is I was 12 years old when the war started in Bosnia, and then you're 12, and then your life just stops. Like you're just numb. You just go day by day.
Is it giving you kind of like flashbacks of what you went through?
Does, and that's just it's like people that've been through can understand that. You just like try to survive each day, you know, look for water, for food. They take your loved ones away from you, and it's bad. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't wish no one to have to go through all that. It's bad. And in Bosnia and Yemen, you can't compare it because Yemen, I believe it's worse than any kind of war.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
It's just but even before the war, they needed help.
Yeah.
You know, we were constantly sending.
We were the poorest country.
You know,
in the-
and
Yeah.
Yemen requires 90% of their actual food and their living supplies from other countries. And with the Saudi-led blockage, like nothing is coming in or coming out, and so it's like it's what they have and what they need to survive. But I mean, honestly, you know, you can't. I wouldn't want to compare any country to because everybody suffers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Definitely. But
for you, that like the fact that I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
The fact that you were there, like that's the, you know, we can't, you know, we didn't.
you go through trauma, you go through like you just, you know,
Yeah.
just, like imagine you're living a normal life and you're 11,
Like
12
it's
years
swept
old
away.
and you just, you know, you don't know. And it's like you're not scared, you're not like, you know, you're just numb. You just don't know, you know,
Yeah.
what's
It's very-
going on.
and-
It's a horrible feeling.
And you've been like that's what you said you
Yes,
experienced
I
that.
was
So
12 years old when
Yeah.
the war started in Bosnia. I lost my brother My dad and went to concentration camp for, I believe they kept him for like 3 months.
Was there any contact?
No, we didn't.
So you didn't know if he was dead or alive?
We didn't know nothing. We found out about 5-6 years later that my brother was murdered. So yeah, we went to Croatia, from Croatia to Slovenia, then we ended up in Germany. We got help there. I lived there for 7 years. Then we moved here when I was 19, which is 22 years ago. And this is basically home. I never had home.
Yeah.
This is home,
And now that you see what's going on in Yemen, you said that it just reminds you of that whole situation. Yeah, very, very unfortunate situation. By the way, our wifey just walked in the building as well, so she just came in. They're all coming in to support, of course, the Balkan House Restaurant in Yemen as well. And going back to this, what you were mentioning about the children, and it's a reason why these places are being bombed, is so that the education doesn't grow. Because obviously you know that educating the kids, that's the future. So they're not only canceling out the present, they're also trying to cancel out the future in Yemen and never have it grow to where you want it to be. So that's another issue, what's going on. I'm happy that you mentioned children, because the children are the ones that are suffering the most in Yemen right now. Like I said, by bombing the schools, like kids are not going to school, They're at home 24/7, hungry, want things and that they don't have access to. So it's a very unfortunate situation. And these places are, schools, hospitals, places of worship. There's a reason why these places are being bombed, because it's going to stop, not just now, but even in the future. Yeah. Hospitals take it away. People can't get healed. Schools, no future. Places of worship, that's where you tend to
find peace.
Yeah, find peace and get together and hopefully, talk about things too. So definitely, I wanted to ask that question just so people can know a little more, even from your experiences as well. Uncle Nash is in the building as well. I mean, realistically, you would have to pull up a chair and stuff. So, you sure you're good? All right. Well, we appreciate you coming by, Uncle Nash. Thank you for that. So going back to not the community, because we're talking about community engagement today.
Yeah.
Community involvement, things about helping out the community. We feel like you'd be a great guest in this situation because you do a lot of it. So why is it important to be engaged in your community? Like, why do you feel it's important to give back to your community?
When I opened up this business, if it wasn't for community supporting me, I wouldn't be where I'm at. And I think it's really important to give back. You can't always just take.
Yeah. How about you, Sada? What you think? Why do you feel like it's important for people to give back to their community?
You know that saying, I don't know if I want to say it right, but it takes a village to raise
a child.
Yeah. And I think that statement is absolutely true. And, being one hand, working all together is super important. It keeps us close. It helps the community grow as well and keeps it positive.
Yep. How about you, Abel? Why do you feel like it's important?
I want to say Hamtramck is not like any other community. Like, first of all, there's every type of race from all walks of the earth. And to be that type of community, it's very important to stick together because it could easily be divided.
Yeah.
And first of all, when you give back to your community, you build a relationship between each other and it becomes safer, it grows. Your kids feel like they have a future. The school systems get better. Like, it's all around. It encompasses what you want for yourself and for your family. So it's very important. And a lot of the times these businesses can't strive if they don't reach out to the community and they don't, try to get to know each other and build that bond. Because, like, let's just say, like, no matter what, if you're not good to the community, they won't come. They won't show up. They won't be able to strive and get better. And you can just see which businesses are actually thriving are the ones that are giving back.
Yeah.
And definitely the Balkan House is one of those businesses that do give back, and it shows. So
when you give back more. You give back more sometimes, right? That's how it works out. So I think it's important to mention as well. But yes, I agree with everybody what they're saying. I like to believe it's important to be engaged in your community because your community is your family in a way, right? And so at the end of the day, if you treat your community like your family, because your family is growing in that community, and everybody looks out for each other and treats each other with the same respect. At the end of the day, I can see that community thriving. I think that's when communities thrive the most, is when everybody is looking out for everyone and trying to help each other grow, especially with all the different cultures and backgrounds, and that could be big. If we can set aside our differences and grow with one another, it's huge, especially with all the different backgrounds. Typically a lot of communities have one or two backgrounds. So when you got all the different ones that we have in this city, and if they can come together, and that's the way you can obviously be engaged and give back, it can mean a lot. It could definitely mean a lot for the city itself. So did you want to add on something, or don't? Did you want to say?
I forgot. When I did this
she gave me a tap. She gave me a hand tap. I didn't know what she was about to say. But I'm going to keep on mentioning that how people can donate. Because remember, we're live at the Balkan House Restaurant. If you go buy food from the Hamtramck location or the Ferndale location, the proceeds will be going to Yemen. And if you want to donate to Yemen, straight up, you can donate at Give to Gain, Cashapp at Give to Gain, Venmo at Give, by the way, number 2, Gain, that's GAIN, and then the Zelle is 313-445-8638. So that's how we are donating it. It's going to be to Give to Gain, which is a non-profit organization that sponsors orphans in Yemen. But with Ramadan coming up, they're going to use that money as well to give to families in need, so that they could have food during the month of Ramadan as well, which is this week. Right, so this Sunday we have the mayor of Hamtramck to kick off our Ramadan show. He's going to talk about leadership during Ramadan on Sunday. We're having a Sunday show, so we're looking forward to that as well, having him on the show. But go ahead, sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, technically all we have is each other in this community. No one's going to come and save us. That's why, we have to be there for one another. A lot of people, and I have to give you your kudos, a lot of people make it in life and then they leave the community and they never look back. And to be able to stay in the community, build your business here, help people out here, and grow us as a community is important, and it's great.
Yes, it is, and it's beautiful to see my kids playing outside with the neighbors. And if I don't feed them, my neighbor will. And if they're doing something bad, they're gonna call me and they're gonna yell at them. And I love raising my kids here.
Yeah.
And even I love how you brought up the neighbor. As Muslims, we have to take care of one another. It's our duty to take care of our neighbor. If we're eating and our neighbor isn't, it's against our
beliefs. So I'm happy that we are sharing this. And right now, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is kind of negative connotation, right? I wanna more talk about how Yemen, best stories of Yemen, favorite stories of Yemen. I know I'm putting you on the spot. Alright. Stories for the audience, by the way, that they can hear any kind of stories that you may have in Yemen. If y'all want to think about it, you can think about that one. And I'm putting you on the spot. I'm going to go over again why Yemen. I'm going to go over a couple of statistics, okay? Why are we donating to Yemen? So again, it's the largest humanitarian crisis and aid operation. 15 million people need water or sanitation support. 5 million are at risk of famine. Every 10 minutes, a child dies from a disease that can be prevented. And then 6 years of armed conflict between Saudi and Houthi rebels that's going on. Unlawful attacks at schools, hospitals, places of worship. Obviously they got hit hard with COVID as well. There's places that you can't walk, checkpoints at every corner. So it's right now, and there's people that go there and they visit there, they say things are okay, but
if you have money, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down to.
It's always kind of been that way. Yeah. If you have money, you're going to be good in Yemen, but if you don't, it's always a struggle. But it was not. It's not as bad as it is now. But it's always kind of been.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So did I give you guys enough time?
I'll think of. I got something.
Okay, go ahead, big sis. What you got?
So I love the fact that when we're in Yemen, when my family's in Yemen, we visited 3 times.
Yeah.
3 times. In America, we're working, we're going to school, everyone's busy. My dad's always at work, we don't really see him. But in Yemen, we are always together. We're always together. And throughout the day, they'll wake up, the men will go out, the women, we always cook at home or whatever in the morning. And then after they come to eat, we would, the men would go to the Miglis, basically. And then the woman would go out if we wanted to, or would stay in or whatever. But at night, we'd always meet together as a family. We'd watch our shows on that one. What was that one show?
MBC3?
Something like that. It was the only American show. and we play card games and we play dominoes. Like we don't do this in
don't
America.
throw money with each other.
Yeah, like we literally like every night we'd meet up. Uncle Nash knows too, and he was in Yemen. We'd be in that one living room where we'd all meet up. We'd play cards, dominoes, watch movies or whatever, and it's just so simple. It brings you back. And then just the greenery and the the landscaping and the mountains and the going back to the village, like it's an experience. I know you've got to.
I think you hit it. It's the simplicity.
Yeah,
of
for
it
sure.
That makes you don't need much when you're there. We barely had internet. I don't think we had internet at all.
Yeah, we didn't have.
No, we used to have to go to. You had to go to a. What was
Yeah, because the last time we were all there was 2008.
So you had to go to like an internet shop.
A cafe.
That's what, internet cafe. That's what it used to be.
I'm sure people are happier like that.
Yeah, no.
But now not all of them have internet now. Like it's just a normal thing. But back when we were there, I had no internet access whatsoever, and
we had each other.
Times,
we had each other,
and we found, like I said, we found company, we found happiness just being there and being around with each other.
And then even with when you go shopping, first of all, shopping is amazing.
Yeah. You feel safe. There's more of a safer sense, back home versus here.
Yeah, it's funny thing is
I don't know now though because of the war. But when we were back there, it was like everybody knew everybody.
No, when we'd go shopping, there would be little kids selling stuff, and they were the most wittiest kids. They'd get you to buy anything that was in there.
And if you're from America, they know.
Oh, they know.
By the way you
I wasn't allowed to talk.
Yeah. Because our Arabic is
my Arabic American accent.
I heard Uncle Nash actually got tips from some of those kids on how to be witty and how to sell things.
Nasty bills.
Yeah, but no, seriously, I wanted people to know that some positive life stories, right? To
and the
Yemen
kids playing soccer in front of the house, and just it's very simple, and I don't know, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
And the buildings as well, like especially our house in back home, it's very beautiful, and the architecture of it is just out of this world. It's so beautiful.
There's a lot of history and heritage involved, so.
Yeah, and obviously for us guys, it was always good because we enjoyed going out, hanging out, and then being together. Like they said, it was the same thing, the same answer, the simplicity of it, and being with family, being together, all together, and just having a good time. And I think that's what it's all about. And that's what makes Yemen special to us. Anybody would say that their home country is special to them, and so that's we had a good time in Yemen.
When was the last time you were at Bosnia?
10 years ago. I supposed to go this summer, but I'm not sure now.
I hope you get
Because
to.
of the war in Ukraine, and we're very close.
Yeah.
There's some commotion there going on too, so not quite sure. But my dad is actually leaving for 10 days.
Oh, okay.
So,
He's leaving where?
to go back home. To
So
do
he'll
some
give you a
things.
little update
Yeah, so
of how
he'll give me
it
a little update. My sister lives in Germany, but she goes visits often. She's gonna be there too, so they're gonna give me kind of updates, what's going on, and if it's safe for me to go and take the kids.
Bosnia is beautiful. I would love to go and visit.
I'll say if I ever go back to Yemen, it would be for Dempsey for my son.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't. I would just see all the sights and not stay as long as we did before. So.
No, and honestly, just want to throw this out, a random thing, but we had a show talking about the Bosnian and Serbian conflict.
That was a beautiful show.
That was a great show. Obviously, Juma helped us out finding it. Another friend of mine helped me out as well finding the other guest, Mr. Sarkic. And so I just wanted to say, for those that enjoyed that show, she and another person were the ones behind it, helped us gather up her nephew. He did an awesome job. Dennis did an awesome job. They were very well spoken and said knowledgeable, knew what they're talking about. So just wanted to mention that we appreciate the Bosnian people and all the stuff that y'all do for us as well. All right, so moving on to the next question is, why do you guys feel it's important to have cultural awareness? Okay, being cultural awareness, for those that don't know, is basically being aware of what's the cultures that are around you. So us, we are Yemeni, being aware of the Bosnians, the African Americans, the Bengalis, the Polish, everything like that. And vice versa for you. So why is it important to have cultural awareness? Being aware of who is around you and what is around you. I can start off with you, Sada.
Respecting others. You end up respecting others' boundaries, their beliefs, what they care about, and all that in between. It's really important to know, how people think or what they're allowed to do, what's gonna offend them, what's not going to offend them, just so it could be so it could all be safer, and also there's respect back and forth.
I bet the same question for you. Why do you think cultural awareness is important?
It's huge to be a part of society. I'm going to bring it back to being teaching because I am a teacher and I have students that are come from all different races. As a teacher, you should know not to offend the students. You never know what a certain family, what their traditions and culturally what they do as a family. Like, you have to understand. So you're celebrating all holidays. You're making sure that they can, get along in the classroom. So when they go into society, they can get along with anybody that they work with. Because you're not going to always work with people that look like you. You're going to be around people from all over the world. And I feel like it's important for us to learn from another because you become well-rounded. You might pick up on what they do and really like it. And I know, like, even with us, we don't just follow our traditions and cultures. We're picking up from everybody, and it's a whole big pot of traditions that we do. So we're learning from one another. You're building, you're making connections, and it's always good to make sure that you understand one another so there isn't any conflict and there's respect, like you said, Sada, and love between everybody.
And everybody wants to feel involved. Like, everybody wants to feel that respect and involvedness. Like
they're important.
I remember, like we've talked about this in the show with Salwa. Like, when we see a hijabi at a magazine or something like that, we feel more involved. We feel more like we're recognized as well.
Yeah.
And by the way, Uncle Eddie wanted to shout out. So
okay, he says a shout out.
Eddie.
Shout out to Uncle Eddie. And by the way, we do want to give shout out to Ahmed. Salam, how are y'all doing? Hope everybody's enjoying spring break. Yes, Khalid does show on Tuesday afternoon. Thank you to Caltrey, always chiming in. And then that's Best Sam saying I was there earlier. Great food and great cause. Thank you to the Balkan House Restaurant. And shout out to Uncle Eddie as well. And then shout out to, of course, Hassan just walked into the building. You got Hannah's in the building. Shout out to Hannah. And students. And then you got Hassan and Hussein, students from Hanley International Academy. Great students. Shout out to everybody over there. And they are in the building. They're in the building and ready to watch their mom. Keeping it rolling, right?
Yeah.
So why do you feel like it's important to have cultural awareness?
It is. It's very important. It's good to educate the kids to know the difference.
Yeah.
We're not
The
all
differences
the
and the
same.
similarities,
Exactly, yeah. So it's good to educate them and show them, that there's other religion, other, basics that, other different looking people,
Yeah. And don't you guys feel like almost being culturally aware is another sign of being professional?
In my job too, we're problem solving the whole entire time, and you can't just throw random solutions to certain people because it can offend them.
Yeah.
Some people are not allowed to do certain things because their culture or their religion, and you need to kind of accept that and have that background to not offend anybody.
Yeah.
So it's super important, super professional.
What are you gonna say? Go ahead.
It's like we have 5 fingers, we're all different, so you have to respect all
Exactly.
of them.
Yeah.
We all
So
have five, but all look different.
it's very important.
Yeah, and you're gonna add on to that because I just feel like that, when someone says or doesn't feel the importance of being culturally aware, that crosses to me like, man, that person doesn't, first of all, care about growing, because I think that's part of growth as well. Because being culturally aware, I think it's very important for your growth, personal growth, any growth. You want to be at a higher level job. I think it's important to have a connection with the people. How you connect with everybody, no matter who it is, man or woman, black, white, purple. And then, like I said, I think it has to do with professionalism. I think someone that doesn't want to be culturally aware of what's going on is somewhat unprofessional because of the fact that you in order for anything to happen, I'm looking at a teacher's perspective, right? In order for the teacher to get through to their students,
To build the bond.
the bond, for them to grow. Like, let's say if you're an owner of a business, in order for your workers to feel like they're valued, appreciated, you would be culturally aware of what they, do and believe in and stuff like that. So Or did you want to say anything?
It's really important to show people that, like sometimes you don't have to agree with them, but you have to respect what they are and what they are.
Yeah, and I think that's what it starts by being culturally aware. Can you see why it's hard to be culturally aware in Hamtramck, though?
I can. A lot of people like to assume.
Yeah.
They'll assume certain things, and that's where we can make mistakes and miss out on opportunities of being around good people and having good workers, or losing a coworker or whatever. So assumptions. There's a lot going on. There's so much to learn here in Hamtramck, so that can be kind of hard. At the same time, I feel like with all the differences, there's so many similarities between every one of us. Like we all come from different countries, different backgrounds. We all want to live a happy life. We
all of us are immigrants.
Yeah, majority. Yeah.
Trying to take the benefit of living here in the land of free and opportunity, and so
some could say that it's probably the best opportunity to be culturally aware is in Hamtramck, because you can learn easily from other people. As much as we might sometimes let that stop us from getting to know one another, people are afraid to reach out to their neighbor who's different. Some of us, I'm not saying everybody, but if you can put that stigma down and actually open your door and talk to them, it's something that can take you a long way. I'm gonna give an example. Like when I went to college, I remember someone introduced their name, and their last name ended with the SKI, and immediately I knew they were Polish. I told him, I was like, hey, you're Polish, right? And then he's like, yeah, how'd you know? And I was like, Hamtramck, a bunch of my friends are Polish, I had a lot of friends who are
one
Polish.
conversation.
Yeah, but when you are in a business setting or a professional setting, that one conversation can take you a long way,
Exactly, yes.
It can close a deal, right? It can make something happen.
Yeah.
So I think that being culturally aware is important in a lot of different senses and things like that, but let's keep it rolling. Does anybody else want to touch on that? Final comment?
You have to give people chances too. You can't just, say like, oh, okay, somebody
It's from
a
this
bad example or they're not good people. Like you just have to give them chance.
Yeah.
Because I did that many times, and they actually turned out the best people I ever met in my life.
Yeah.
100%.
Give people chances.
You can have one bad apple, it doesn't mean everybody, So it's good to treat everyone for themselves instead of seeing one person and then assuming that everybody's the same way.
And I'm gonna touch on that too. I was just talking to my coworkers earlier today, and I was saying because we were talking about this females from this race or males from this race. I don't like you said, there's not one bad, that one bad apple can't ruin everything. I don't like when people specifically say about races or from Hamtramck or you're from Detroit. There's good and bad everywhere.
Yeah.
It's all about yourself at the end of the day. Even if you come from a great family, doesn't mean you're great, or or vice versa.
Yep.
It's all about yourself at the end of the day, because yes, you learn aspects from everybody around you, but we have our own brains for a reason. We have our own hearts for a reason. We have our own thoughts for a reason. So that not judging is 100%.
Were you about to disagree with that?
No. I'm gonna add on to that. Even I'm gonna always keep bringing it back to the educational field. So I'm a teacher, right? And then we have kindergarten, and the kindergarten teachers they would try to get the classes together for the next year. So they'll be they'll try to give us their ideas of the students, the students like this and the students like that. And I'm just like, well, let me get to know them. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're like that to you in your classroom doesn't mean they're going to be like that to me in my classroom, And that, just that alone from kids, let alone adults. People tend to, have that one thing that they know about you, and then they know everything else about you, and then, you know what I'm saying? So just giving people the chance to be themselves and without being judgmental.
Yes.
Or even even culturally put them in a category. You know what I'm saying? So
Did you just call out the kindergarten teachers right now?
No. I'm just saying I'm first, but I'm saying there's other grades too that do that as well. I shout out to the kindergarten team. They're all amazing.
Yeah.
Not Miss Gora though. No, I'm joking. I love her.
Kindergarten, by the way, teachers are.
They're amazing.
Yeah, you have to be
Special.
Yeah. To be a kindergarten teacher. That jump from kindergarten to first grade is a big jump too. The kids fully understand it. So kindergarten teachers specifically, shout out to
Come
them.
in not knowing how to use a pencil, and then they're reading. So
use the bathroom, some of them, tie their shoes.
I mean, we're
Alright, we're just throwing it out there.
Kind of, but
Alright, we're talking about kindergarten teachers and stuff. Alright, so with that said, let's move it on. What kind of impact do you think helping others can have? Like, what kind of impact do you believe? Because obviously this is what it's all about. We're talking about the Balkan House, giving back to Yemen. I'm going to reiterate it. If you want to donate to Yemen, you can donate to Give to Gain. Their Venmo is at give2gain. Their Zelle is 313-445-8638. Again, 313-445-8638. And their Cashapp is at give2gain. We are here because it's a fundraiser for Yemen. We're live at the Balkan House Restaurant. Our guest is Juma Ekic, the owner of the Balkan House Restaurant. They're having a fundraiser at both of their locations, Hamtramck and Ferndale location. So if you could somehow stop by before 8 o'clock, correct, tonight, that is when they close. So come on by, stop by. Did you want to say?
You can also order through Grubhub, Uber Eats as well. I will be doing that.
There you go. You can also order through Grubhub and Uber Eats as well, and they can get that to you as well. So my question is, what kind of impact do you think helping others can have? Do you want to start off on this one? I'm gonna let you start on this one. Go ahead.
Number one, they could put you in perspective. You can really appreciate what you have when you see other people struggling, going through whatever they're going through. Another thing, it makes you feel good. Like, it literally gives me this sense of good feeling, and like that good, like you feel like your heart is getting warm, like literally, like the Grinch. When the Grinch's his heart gets bigger. When you're giving back, you have that feeling inside of you that grows. You get to and sometimes when people see you give back, they'll give back. So it'll be like a domino effect.
yeah.
At the end of the day, as Muslims, we can't see other people struggling without helping them. So it's just that good heart feeling. You feel like you're doing something. You feel like you have a purpose.
Yeah. Sada, what do you think? What kind of impact do you think helping others can have?
She kind of already left off the points and whatnot. And giving back is one of the 5 pillars of our religion. But I mean, it doesn't, whatever religion you are, whatever background you have, I think giving back is just something for it's humanity. It's something that we as humans, it's kind of our job to do. Giving back, and again, we've talked about this in multiple episodes too. Giving back doesn't necessarily need to have to be money. It could be time. It could be volunteering for certain situations. It could be, your old clothes that don't fit you anymore, giving it to the blue boxes that there's like everywhere and whatnot. So I mean, it doesn't take a lot for you to give back, and plus the aftermath of it, of how you feel, is incredible.
And I want to add that no matter what, every one of us is going to go through a down or a hardship in this life, and for us to relieve someone else's hardship, it's going to, God will help us through our hardships.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, you gotta believe that, because that's what we believe in, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just, there's bad karma and there's good karma, right? And that's what the good one comes into play. But what kind of impact do you think helping others can have, Juma?
It makes you feel good about yourself, and and if everyone would do just a little bit, I think it wouldn't be so many hungry people out there.
The world would be a better place.
Exactly. And as they mentioned, both of them,
They can rip off back and give back. Go ahead.
I did want to mention this hadith. I found it now, and I was looking for it earlier because you kind of put me on the spot, but it's okay.
Yeah.
The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Whoever relieves a believer's distress of the distressful aspects of this world, Allah will rescue him from the difficulties of the hereafter. Whoever alleviates the situation of one in dire straits who cannot repay his debt, Allah will alleviate his lot in both this world and the hereafter. Whoever conceals the faults of a Muslim, Allah will conceal his faults in this life and the hereafter." So basically, whatever you do in this life to give back and to help someone, it'll come back to you tenfold. So
it's very simple thing. I think we like to make things harder than it needs to be, right?
Yeah.
I think it's very simple. You give, you'll get in return, and sometimes more than what you probably expected. And me, what kind of impact do you think helping others can have? I honestly think like it can impact generations. You know, it can impact a lot of people. I think you could have a very strong. People see that and they're gonna. It's very contagious. You know, people want to do the same thing. Just like how negative people can be like ruin the mood, a positive person can enlighten the mood and change the mood and change the whole situation. So, you know, me personally, that's what I feel like. I feel like that, you know, giving back and having that impact, that positive impact on somebody, it can have a strong ripple effect and go past everyone. So just wanted to make sure that people know what kind of impact do you think helping others can have. I'm going to go over again one more time the sponsors and why Yemen and stuff like that. And then after that, we can give our final words. Believe it or not, it's almost that time. So again, we are here live at the Balkan House Restaurant, the Hamtramck location. Today is the Yemen Fundraiser. 100% of all proceeds will be going to Yemen. Shout out to Juma. You know, she said, hey, let's make this happen. Let's reach out. I was like, you know what? We'll stream live. We'll try to share this. You know, this is not the first time. She just did one for Ukraine last week. Always give a back. Go ahead. What did you want to say too?
I want to say thank you guys because you guys helped me get this all together and stuff like that.
No problem. Yeah.
It's definitely your intentions. So.
Yeah.
In all this,
Can we
like,
give to her?
100%.
Yeah. We're giving you
Thank you, guys.
finger snaps. No, for sure. So, you know, for those that are wondering why Yemen, I'm going to go over this again just so people can understand. It's the largest humanitarian crisis in aid operation. 15 million people need water or sanitation support. 5 million people are at risk of famine. Every 10 minutes, a child dies from a disease that can be prevented. 6 years of armed conflict between Saudi and Houthi rebels. And obviously when there's a war going on, the people that suffer are the innocent people. You know, they got unlawful attacks at schools, hospital, places of worship. Like my sister mentioned, you know, Yemen is the poorest country in the Middle East. It's probably one of the poorest countries in the world. And, you know, just the list goes on and on. So if you want to donate, their Venmo is at give2gain. Their Zelle is 313-445-8638. And their Cashapp is at give2gain. And Give to Gain is a non-profit organization that sponsors orphans in Yemen. But this time around, they're not going to only give to the sponsors, but they're going to be feeding the families in need, especially for the month of Ramadan, which is starting this
They're
weekend.
having their food packages as well. And I do want to say one thing about their nonprofit. 100% of proceeds goes to the cause.
Yeah.
They don't take anything. Even their, like the processing fee, they pay for it. So literally all of your money goes to the people in need. So
Yeah, and you know, just in case people had questions, that's what it is. You know, we appreciate them. They you know, Rico's the one. They are actually a you know, a guy who wanted to shed light on Give to Gain. So, you know, he obviously sponsored the show, but said, you know what, instead of having his business, he wanted to put Give to Gain on there so we can mention Give to Gain on our shows as well. And that is Rico. We appreciate Rico. Thank you for shedding light on Give to Gain by being a sponsor on the show as well.
I like their name too, like
Give to Gain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good logo.
That's nice.
Good logo too with the number 2 and stuff. So we got to give their PR team a round of applause, right?
I'll let her know.
Yeah. So with that said, this is final word time. Anybody that's, you know, have any questions for us, feel free to ask us. You know, I said this show will probably go about an hour. We're almost there. So any final words, any last minute comments you guys want to say? I know I'm looking at you, Juma. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, Juma, this was amazing.
Yeah.
This is
Like honestly,
so
like
thoughtful.
we want to give you the flowers, right? That's our thing. Like we like to give people with, like, not actual flowers.
Because you know, people like the thing is,
Last week I said this, and my sister was like, "You can't be saying that. People don't expect actual flowers." It's a saying, okay? It's a saying. You know, I gotta watch out when I say that. I gotta
no,
give
because
people
there's
their
like this
flowers.
quote that says like, you know, a lot of people only like think about people and give them like their good credit when like they pass away.
Yeah.
They actually give them flowers
Yeah.
after they pass away.
You
Yeah.
know, this person was really good, or this person, like, no, we need to let people know now, like, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
You're alive. You're
You're an inspiration. I look up to you, you know, and you're definitely like one of the leaders of this community.
Yeah, I can see you easily as a leader of this community for
100%.
sure. Like, because you step up at any moment. Like when, you know, Marvin passed away, you were the first business I reached out and said, hey, you know, I don't like to put out numbers out there, but you gave a big amount, you know, and you like I said, anything. It's anything. It's not just one culture. You give back to everything. You don't pick and choose. I feel like, I'm not here every day, but anybody that comes up to you, you're probably giving back to them. And so that's awesome. It's not easy. And I know you were mentioning to us you come from a humble background and stuff like that.
And
earlier.
she's like, I don't even want this attention.
Yeah, she doesn't want this
But she
attention. By the
deserves
way. She doesn't like this stuff. But I told her, I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Just put you on the spot.
Well, I think I did great.
No, for sure. No, you did. You did. And
Sitting down, I'm not on the floor.
No, you're good.
we didn't have to call an ambulance, like you said, right? That's the important thing. But also shout out to the family. Like I said, shout out to Hassan in the building, the daughters, the sons in the building, all the workers. I'm sure you appreciate all of them as well.
Exactly. Like I said earlier, I really have a good support. My parents, my husband, kids, amazing employees. I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So it's not just me. I have a big
Team.
It's a team.
Yes, literally
Yeah.
a team.
yes. And
But they have a good, boss, so it works
Leader.
both ways.
I'm
Yeah.
not nice all the time.
Don't let this fool you, huh? Like sometimes whatever.
I
But
have a bad side of me.
Hamza T from the Move Up podcast as well is in the building. She was saying all the terrible things about the things that
Yeah,
you
you're
do.
getting fired after this.
Yeah. No, she was saying great things about Hamza. Hamza, you want to come over here and say hello? You could just stand right over here behind him. The sound will get picked up. You don't need a mic headset or anything. He'll be fine right there if you want to stand here. This is Hamza T, the guy that we were referring to. He's rocking his OZ Balkan House shirt. Shout out to Hamza T. Rocking the shirt. I got a quick question for you. I'm putting you on the spot. All right. Why do you think it's important, to be engaged in your community? Why is it important to be engaged in your community and, to give back to your community and all that other good stuff? But go ahead, you can hold it if you want to.
Oh, man.
Yeah, putting you on the spot, Hamza T.
Bro, that's a hard question, man. Wait, repeat that one more time.
I said, why do you feel like it's important to be engaged in your community, Hamza?
I feel like it's important, because people know your name, you know what I'm saying? If you're just sitting at home, nobody will know you. You have to put a name out for yourself, you know what I'm saying?
And for you, and not just for you, obviously for your family and everything like that. All right, and then I'm gonna ask you the next question is culture awareness. Why is it important for people to be aware of all the cultures that are around them?
It's important because it's better to learn about more cultures than just your own, so you can understand what people are going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right. Well, I just want to put Hamza on the spot. He's a very educated. He's an educated young man. Good guy. And we appreciate him. How do you like working at the Balkan House, by the way? You don't need the microphone. Go ahead.
I love the community, you know what I'm saying? Juma, probably the best boss I ever worked for.
Aww.
She's a very good boss. Even though she has meat tie butts, it's all to better the restaurant, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, very good boss.
It's the pressure. It's the pressure of trying to,
Listen,
I have
he's
to,
trying to get a raise, Juma. That's what it is. All right? It's that time.
I have to be mean sometimes.
Yeah.
Only for the better of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Hamza. We appreciate you, man. Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot, but in your family, you're allowed to do that, right? All right. Well, with that said, so this was episode 30 of the Table Talk. Basically, it was about community relationship, community awareness. Again, this was a fundraiser for Yemen. Today is Tuesday, March 29th. Mark this down on the calendar. This was the Balkan House Restaurant. Did not have to do this. Right, she reached out. She wanted to do this. We really do appreciate it. And even if it's $1 or if it's whatever the amount is, whatever, we are thankful for it. And I'm sure the people who are going to benefit from that, obviously, they're going to appreciate it as well. So thank you for this. Any final words you want to say, Abir?
It's our duty to help those in need. So make your way to the Balkan House today, and if you can't, there's always ways to donate. There's so many different places.
Exactly. So did you say your final word as well, or?
Yeah, I said it before.
You said it before?
Ramadan Mubarak to everyone that's celebrating.
Yeah, so Ramadan Mubarak to everybody. That is going to start this weekend. As I mentioned before, our next show will be this Sunday. It will be with the Mayor of Hamtramck, who's also Yemeni, Dr. Mayor Ghadab. He will be in the building. We'll be live. We'll be talking about leadership in Yemen. In Hamtramck, leadership in Hamtramck and stuff like that. And going about all the
Leadership
stuff.
in Yemen should be actually that would be a controversial.
There is no leadership right now.
Topic.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about that this Sunday. Maybe we can have it on another one. Juma, thank you again for everything. Thank you for those that watched or will eventually watch. I hope you enjoy it. And again, if you are watching, come on out to the Balkan House Restaurant. We got about like an hour left. All proceeds will be going to Yemen. And thank you for those that already did come out earlier.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all this as well.
We appreciate it. Have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you on Sunday. Take it easy.